Hey everyone. Recently I got a chance to appear on the Beach Boys Talk live stream and talk a little bit about how I became a fan, what some of my favorite Beach Boys albums are, and also show off a little bit of stuff in my collection. But there was one thing that I wanted to do, if time permitted, on screen that I didn't get a chance to do, and that is show a little bit more of my Light Up Smile Sessions box set, the Light Up edition that I own. I had shown pictures, really Greg and Matt showed pictures of it that I sent them on a previous episode of the live stream back in February. And, it's cool seeing pictures of it, but I've actually not lit it up. I've not activated its lights feature since getting Al, Mike, and Bruce's autographs added to it. So I figured I want to do that on camera, and maybe I could show off some features of the light up set that you don't commonly get to see because they're on the inside of the lid, and there's some interesting stuff on the inside that I think people may not know about. First things first, I have to move my computer. Here you can kind of see the autographs, Mike's, Al's, Brian's, and Bruce's. Okay. Now, I'm going to lay it down like this. I'm going to remove this, the lid. So inside the light up editions, the actual content of them is no different than the non-light up editions. Even down to the runoffs, the runoff coatings in the vinyl, they're all identical. So there's no actual tangible difference to any of the Smile sets, except for the light up edition, the lid is what's different. This is the inside of the lid. And I don't know how well I can show this, but do you see in the top corner, one of the top corners, there's this little, it's this corner, this right here. That's the switch. That's the light switch that you'll hit to activate the lights. And there's a battery compartment inside of here. So there's this little felt tab here that you can use to open up the inside of the lid. And this is the battery compartment. Now, I unfortunately had to deliver some bad news to a fellow owner of a light up set over on the Smiley Smile message board. He had kept his set sealed, and he wondered if the people who made the light up sets included batteries in them or not. And unfortunately, I had to break the bad news to him that they did. For some reason, the makers of the box set decided to include batteries, but they specifically decided to include batteries inside of the battery compartment. So if you kept your Smile Sessions light up set sealed for all these years, unfortunately, I have bad news for you. There's battery acid probably everywhere by now. I actually saw the batteries that came with this thing start to corrode. It was just very slight. It was the very start of it. But I thankfully caught it around the time that Al signed this. This was signed by Al in early 2019. So, we're now in 2021. And if it started happening to me in 2019, and it's the original batteries that came with it, chances are that by now it's happened to everybody who kept their set sealed. The only reason I caught it was just good timing, good luck, and the fact that I unsealed it. But yeah, they should not have done that. I don't know why they did that. It's a very bad idea. I can only think that they were just thinking that, okay, people bought this thing for the light up feature and the autograph. So if you bought this for like $700, $800, you'd at least want the satisfaction of it working right out of the gate. So I keep the batteries now. There's no batteries installed in this thing. I keep the battery compartment completely empty at all times. So I'm actually going to grab some batteries from over here and install them. They take 3 AA's. And the last thing I'll mention before I even put these in is the box sets are numbered. There is a great book by Perry Cox. No, not that Perry Cox. This Perry Cox, the collector and the author of several collecting guides on the Beatles, and also a very good collecting guide on the Beach Boys that was released back in 2017. Highly recommended just to see like what's out there in terms of US records. But he had a line in there that claimed that there were only 50 of these made, 50 of these light-up editions made, and that they're unnumbered. And that is not true. You know, the error was made because, according to him, the 50 count came from Brian's camp early on in the bookmaking process. And he isn't surprised that there were more made after that. Oftentimes that's what happens. But he had no idea how many of these are out there. And truth be told, I don't have any idea of that either. I have asked around. I've asked around in various places to various people who either have come forth and told me that they're an owner of a light-up set, or, you know, I just encountered through other means. And the highest number that I've seen in terms of like where it's numbered, and I should show that too, it's numbered on the inside corner of the lid. Bottom corner here. See where the R, what is that? The RIIA symbol is? You would think I would know that information off the top of my head. Yeah, RIAA. See where that is? Here? Look what the number is. So I have number 71071. I have seen a picture from another collector on a Facebook collecting forum that has the number 102. And so if I have number 071 and he has number 102, clearly more than 50 of them were made and clearly they are numbered. So he's aware of the error, but we both don't know how many light-up sets were created. The highest number from asking around, like I've asked around at various places, the highest number that I've seen is 154. Now, that to me implies that there's at least 200 of these out there. 200 light-up sets. However, it's very possible that that number could be higher. In fact, I saw one listing, a secondhand site was selling one of these. And the number of the box set in that listing, this was like years ago, the listing by far ended, you know, way before I ever encountered it. But the number was low, but it said that it was number like, let's just say it was like number 54 or whatever. Number 54 out of 250. Initially, when I saw that, when I was investigating this, I was like, well, there's no source here. I don't know where he's getting this 250 number from. That just sounds sketchy. I'm going to ignore it. But the more I looked around, the more I've come to suspect that that 250 number is probably correct. I don't know where this person got that number from. I would love to know if there's anybody out there that has a number higher than 200 or a number close to 200 even that. Please feel free to contact me. I'm just interested in finding this information out. I want to know like how many of these are even out there. It's actually really interesting to me. So, but nevertheless, it's probably either 200 or 250. One or the other, because there's 154. I know for a fact that that's out there now. Anyway, that's the other thing. All right, so time to install the batteries. While I'm filling with it though, again, you can kind of see it lit up, and the autographs on the side, Mike, Al, Bruce, and Brian's. One of the things that makes balancing this challenging is the fact that it's angled a certain way because it has to compensate somewhat for the weight of the contents in here. So if you ever look at a Smile Sessions box set that has been opened, you will notice the back lid is not fully flush with the front lid, that there's kind of a little bit of a space up top where they are not flush with each other, and that's how this was designed. It's designed to offset some of the weight. And because there are batteries in here now, that makes it even more top heavy. There we go. One last thing I'll do. Now that is really, really cool. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Take care. Peace.